Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Uh, Today, we already, a while ago, we did already discuss about what is teaching prose. What do we mean about teaching prose? So, in this particular continuation of our topic, I will be going to discuss. I will be discussing about the procedure of teaching prose. So, we all know as as an aspiring uh, teacher, as an education student, so it is very important for us to know the flow, the proper flow of the lesson or the lessons that we are going to teach uh, in our uh, students. And also, when we talk about teaching prose, it is very important to know the proper procedure of having it, and in order for us to know how to properly apply the ways on how to have an effective uh, lesson that we will going to teach our students. So, the procedure of teaching prose, the first one is we have the preparation. So, of course, when we talk about preparation, we all know that we have to, it talks about something that we need to prepare. So, the materials or the needed resources. Okay? So, the first in this preparation, or the first procedure of teaching prose, which is preparation, we have material aids. So of course, this is the material aids. This includes, of course, the visual aids, all the materials that are needed in our discussing our topic or our lesson to our students. So, material aids, this the teacher makes the appropriate use of audio visual aids to make the lesson interesting. Okay? And then we also have under the first procedure of teaching prose. After the material aids, we have the previous knowledge. So, the teacher should know how much knowledge students already possess regarding the lesson, so that he or she can give new knowledge by linking it to their previous knowledge. So, of course, this is very important because we cannot let just uh, expose something to our students uh, without them having them know what will be our topic or our lesson should be. So it is very important for us teachers that we need to be uh, to teach our students topic which are they already have like a past knowledge about it. Okay, so that they can follow our lesson or the flow of our lesson properly. Okay, so after the material aids, previous knowledge, we have introduction. So the introduction is the most important part to make the students ready to learn and start the lesson, as it is believed that quote will begin is half done, or well begun is half done. Sorry. So uh, under the first procedure of teaching prose, under the which is preparation, and then under the preparation we have material aids, previous knowledge, and the introduction. In the introduction, this is one of the basic and yet most important part in this particular procedure, because uh, if our introduction is that full or is that knowledgeable, then the entire part of the lesson will be then very effective, in the sense that if our introduction is that full, is that understandable, and is that catchy, the implication then would be our students can follow uh, properly the flow of the lesson, and then they can get, or they can grasp the entire concept of our lesson. So if our introduction is that full, is that beautiful, then the job of the teacher, in order to give his or her lessons effectively to his or her students, is uh, halfway or half effective, because of the uh, full thought that we have in our introduction. So this is very important. That is why in the quote, well begun is half done. Okay, so if our introduction is that catchy, so and our the flow of the lessons will be then so easy, will be that easy by to catch up by our students, because in introduction they can actually follow it. Okay, so introduction has two purposes. The first one is to bring the previous knowledge to consciousness. Okay, so this the first purposes of introduction is to bring the previous knowledge to consciousness. This is very common, because as we all know, we are all students of if we recall our past experiences in our elementary and in our secondary, high school experiences, we remember that before our teacher gives his or her lesson, he or she will have a recap, or like a review about what is, or what are the past topics that we discussed. Alright? In order to recall, in order to what do you call this? In order to activate the the thought of the students, and the students then can relate that one into the present topic. So dili na kaayo siya maglisod ang estudyante og sabot, because na-connect na niya. Mao day ni siya ang mao day ni ang amo ding topic karon is related lang siya sa tong topic sa una. So ang estudyante kung dili na siya maglibog, dili na siya ma-confuse og ayo. Okay? So this is to bring the previous knowledge to consciousness. This is very very important para masunod gid ang o proper ang flow sa lesson. Okay? The second one is to link the previous knowledge to the new knowledge to be given. Of course, mo to kung giing ganina, it is very important to recall the past topic or lesson in order for the students to link the past lesson or topic to the present, and then they will be able to grasp, just even just a little bit, they will be able to grasp the connection and the sense of the topic, on why is the teacher what's the sense that the teacher was teaching this particular lesson to us. So the students now will be able to, it is not that hard for the students to follow or to grasp the teacher's lesson, to understand it. Okay? And then the last one is statement of the aim. So under this, the teacher clearly explains the topic which he is going to teach, and instructs the students to open their books at the appropriate page. So of course this is also very common if we recall our past uh, school experiences, which is sa una katong face to face pa, normal pa, very common ni siya, di ba? Kung mabantay na to ang flow, ang dagan or ang flow sa discussion sa ato ang teacher or teachers, common kaayo ni siya nga ang atong teacher is na siya i-explain niya ang yang topic, yang lesson, and din na siya i-instruct sa atoa. Like for example, open the books or then go to this page and then discuss. So ingon ana ang flow. So common kaayo ni siya nga nga event sa ato ang and all of us, I'm sure all of us undertakes or undergo this situation. So again, the first part of the procedure of teaching prose is preparation, and then under preparation we have material aids, we have previous knowledge, introduction, statement of the aim. Okay, so the next one is the presentation. So after the preparation of the procedures of teaching prose, we have the after the procedure we have the presentation. So under the presentation, this one, reading aloud by the teacher. Reading aloud by the teacher is called model reading. The teacher reads aloud the selected passage with proper pronunciation, stress, intonation, and pause. The speed of reading should be normal and audible to the entire class. He should keep an eye on the class while reading to see whether the students are following the reading in their textbooks. This is very common in elementary students. Kung ato madumduman, di ba? Sa ang first part sa procedure of teaching prose is ang preparation. Of course, so dito na to mag-prepare ta dito tanan sa atong visual aids on how to kung saan na to pag first approach ang atong mga estudyante effectively. Andito siya sa preparation. The next one of the preparation is the presentation. So ato nang i-present ang ato ang lesson. And kining presentation, kining reading aloud by the teacher is very common. Makita din nato na siya, especially in the elementary students. Kung makabantay mo, ang teacher, una niya, naa siya'y for example, naa siya'y ibasahon niya ang basahon niya ang letter, like letter A. Saan ba pronounce sa letter A, letter B, letter C. And then after sa teacher nga magbasa og a particular letters of the alphabet or any teaching any learning materials nga kinahanglan niya. So after niya magbasa, kini ang ipautro niya og basa sa iyaha dayong mga estudyante. Pero ang first nga ginabuhat sa teacher sa commonly sa mga elementary students is basahon niya una, and then kini ang para maka-follow ang mga estudyante sa unsaon sa pag-pronounce, unsaon ang the way the teacher kana bitong i-utter niya or istorya niya ang words or ang particular word. So that is reading aloud by the teacher. So the purpose of that is to be able the students to follow, to know na ingon ani di ay ang pagbasa ani. So this is very common in elementary students. The next one, after reading aloud by the teacher, is the pronunciation drill. So mao na ni siya ang kato kong naisgutan ganina nga after read or naibasahon ng particular ang teacher, kini ang utro niya, ipabasa niya utro sa iyahang mga estudyante. And then aron makita sa teacher kung correct ba ang pronunciation, kini ang o other thing na kinahanglan pa nga matun-an or ma-improve sa mga estudyante. And then the words should be selected on the basis of the pronunciation skills of the class. The selected words should be written on the blackboard by one and practice. So mao na siya very common in elementary. So like for example, letter A. So gina-read og aloud loud jud sa teacher para madunggan jud sa mga estudyante. And then after that, that is reading aloud with the teacher. After that, pronunciation drill. Ang teacher na karon ang magpabasa sa iyang mga estudyante about atong ipautro to niya o basa or ipautro niya o pronounce sa mga estudyante to iyang i-pronounce una. And then somebody in the class iyang sulat sa blackboard or sa green board ato nga particular nga word, and then ipabasa niya og utro aron nga ma-practice. Okay, so that was under the pronunciation drill. So those words are selected which are difficult to pronounce by the students, commonly mispronounced by the students, and containing the silent letters. So mao ni siya. The purpose, of course, of the of the teacher in doing so is that excuse me, para ma-improve ang mga estudyante, especially sa katong mga words nga lisod kayo i-pronounce, maglisod sila pronounce, then commonly mali nga pagka-pronounce, or katong mga silent letter nga dili nila kaayo utter or ma-pronounce gid pud nila, ma-istorya. So that's it. So again, in presentation, we have reading aloud by the teacher and pronunciation drill. So the next one is the reading aloud by the students. The teacher asks some students to read the passage aloud one by one, loud by the students is also called imitation reading, as they try to imitate the teacher's pronunciation, pause, and intonation. So sumpay ra ni siya ato ganina, ato nga flow nga ginapahimo sa teacher sa iyahang mga estudyante in order for them to learn. Okay? And then the exposition of new words or phrases, the teacher selects the new words and phrases from the passage and explains their meaning. So the teacher can adopt different methods for explaining the meanings. So the first one is by showing the object, mode, picture of chart, by using the word in sentence. The next one is by giving synonym or antonym, by drawing sketch or figure on the blackboard, by showing action or gestures, and by translating the word in mother tongue. So again, these examples are commonly makita nato ni siya sa elementary students good, katong ang teacher is gina-introduce pa niya sa mga bata ang mga new or uncommon words, and then para mailhan na sa bata, so kinahanglan magpakita sa teacher o picture or chart or para ma-identify sa bata nga mao ni siya nga object or mao ni siya nga creature. Maghimo ang teacher og, like for example, mag-imitate og sound ang teacher, for example din siya. So kanya, I want you to identify which kind of animal is this. So mag-imitate of sound or sounds ang teacher, and then he or she will let his or her students to guess or to give the correct answer by guessing, of course, the sounds which they hear, diba? So yun ana na siya. The next one is also under the presentation, we have silent reading. After exposition of new words or phrases, the teacher asks the students to read the passage silently. This helps rapid reading, learning of new words, and quick grasp of meaning. The teacher then should supervise the class while students are reading. Adequate time should be given to complete the reading of the passage. So, under the presentation, we also have silent reading. So, what do we mean by this? So, the teacher now, this time, ask the student to read the passage silently. This is also very common. As I remembered, I performed this gi-perform nako ni siya. Kung ako yung mga hardly nga madumduman is most commonly sa high school. High school na, because katong ginatuluan mi nga kana bitaw nga silent reading, magbasa mi din. Kani ang sabto namo ang among basa by reading it silently. Okay? And kini ang nano man na siya ngayon, anak man na Ngano nga may ingon ana nga aspect. So of course, the teacher now, of course, will then assess by getting what will be the response of the student in silent, kung helpful ba ang silent reading or dali ra ba siya makasabot in terms of kini ang kung mag silent reading siya mas dali ba siya makasabot compared sa katong mag loud jud katong i-pronounce gid niya loudly or kanaay ang iyang pagbasa. So ingon ana na siya. Now, the next one is comprehension questions. After the silent reading, some question based on the passage should be asked to students. Comprehension of the passage. The following type of question may be asked. So the first one is by asking meaning of new words, by asking short questions on the main portion of the passage, and to pick out different forms or of words or phrases. So mga kung giingon ganina, this is also a way to assess the students. Kung dali na ba siya makagrasp o dali ba niya masabtan using the silent reading instance. Okay? So, the next one is recapitulation or application test. Okay? So, under this one, the purpose of recapitulation is to evaluate the extent to which the objectives of the lesson have been achieved. The recapitulation, is generally done with different types of questions. So the question should be from all passages taught in different units. These questions are different from comprehension questions. Okay? So this is also an assessment, of course. It is application test to evaluate to which extent the objective of the lesson have been achieved. So this is very important for us teachers to be able to properly assess our student kung nakasabot pa sila, nakuha ba nila ang atong gusto nga ipasabot sa ila. Okay? So, the next one is evaluation. The main objective of evaluation is to test whether the set objective has been achieved or not. At the end of each lesson, the teacher should put some application questions to evaluate the success of the lesson plan in achieving the predetermined objectives. Okay? And the evaluation can be carried out by means of questions, assignments, blackboard work, dramatization, etc. So all of these are forms of evaluation. And the last one, under the procedure of teaching prose, is the home assignment. So home assignment work is the final stage of the lesson plan. Home assignment is the basis of retaining learning. It can be given in different forms. Okay, so there are 6 examples in the PowerPoint presentation as follows. So again, under the procedure of teaching prose, we have the first one, we have preparation. And then under the preparation, we have material aids, we have previous knowledge, introduction, and statement of the aim. These are all under of preparation. The second one of procedure of teaching prose is the presentation. Under the presentation, we have reading aloud by teacher, we have the pronunciation drill, we have reading aloud by the students, and then exposition of new words and phrases. And then the next one, we have also under the presentation, we have silent reading, and lastly, comprehension questions. So all of them are under the presentation. The next one is we have the third one in procedure of teaching process, the recapitulation or application test. And then the next one is the evaluation, and the last one is the home assignment. Okay? So I have here an example lesson plan for teaching prose, and I've got this from, of course, the internet resources, Google, in Google, and I have just get the general view or the general uh, flow of the lesson plan, because pardon me if I cannot expound this explanation, because I am in a limited time uh, situation or setup. So in order for me to sum up everything, because I am under a time constraint, um, I will just be presenting this. I will just read this one, and I will present the flow of this lesson English, this lesson plan in English, so that we will be able to grasp the flow of the procedure of teaching prose. Okay, so ato siyang mag-grasp ingon ana follow the niya ang katong giingon sa procedures of teaching prose. Okay, so in this example lesson plan for teaching prose in English, so the first one is we have the general objectives. Okay, and then the second one is the specific objectives. So mo ni siya ang general flow na ni siya sa lesson plan. And then the first is again general objectives, the second one is specific objectives, and then under the specific objectives we have the knowledge and we have the understanding. Okay, so kini ang lahi na siyang duha, different na siyang duha. And then after the specific objectives we have the application. After the application we have the material aids, and after the material aids we have the previous knowledge, and after the previous knowledge we have the introductory question. So mao ni siya ang sum up na sa katong flow sa lesson plan, example lesson plan nga akong basa or download sa internet. And then don't worry, because I will post, or I will post the complete detail and complete flow of the said lesson plan also in RGC for complete reference. So that's all, and thank you so much.